I'm Gargi. I think we've met a couple months ago, actually. Um, and I go to UNC Chapel Hill. I'm an undergrad student, and I am studying computer science. And these are just some pictures of me and where I lived in India. So the pictures in the middle show some old palaces and forts in India. So it's really cool how much there is to explore. And some of my favorite places are kind of pictured here.
So we're going to start with a little focus question here, and Ms. Barsanti, we'll have you call on people so it doesn't get hectic through the computer. To start out, you guys can tell the person on your left your favorite sport, and then after that, you can tell the person on your right your favorite sport.
So I hope you guys shared your favorite sports and kind of building off of that, which sports are played in the US? So what sports can you guys name? Raise your hand if you can think of one.
Okay, so now you all can raise your hands if you can think of any sports that are popular outside of the United States. For example, whether in Canada or England or somewhere else around the world. All right, great job, guys. Next, we're gonna sit down, and Gargi, you can take it away.
Yeah, we'll start by talking about some sports in India. So we're going to start by talking more about the history of sport in India. So in ancient India, there were a lot of different games that they used to play that are very similar to some of the games we have today. So the first picture kind of shows chess. So the picture of the board game, it looks very similar to chess, but it's called Chaturanga. So Chaturanga is a board game that was very similar to chess that was played in ancient India. And then the picture right beside it shows wrestling, right? So in ancient India, there was a sport called Pehlwani, and that was basically wrestling, and it was played on like a muddy arena outside. Um, and then the picture on the very left, it looks kind of like gymnastics, right? There's like a pole and a gymnast who's kind of doing gymnastics around the pole. And this is called Malakam, and it's also a traditional sport that wrestlers used to play to kind of increase their strength and their balance and things like that. And then the last one on the right is called Kabaddi, and this is a game that's played like in schools. It's kind of similar to tag, but it involves a lot more kind of force and strength as well. Okay, and then speaking about more recent modern sports, I think you guys named a few of these when you were talking about sports played outside the US. The first kind of main one is cricket, which is on like the bottom left. And the first picture on the bottom left shows a cricket stadium in India, and it's the biggest cricket stadium in the world. And I think it was constructed pretty recently, a few years ago. And then the second picture also, it shows hockey. So hockey is another sport that's played in India. And then the last one is badminton. So I don't know if you guys know what badminton is, but it's very similar to tennis, I guess, except instead of a ball, you use a shuttle or a shuttlecock. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about cricket. If any of you have heard of or played cricket before, can you raise your hand? So raise your hand if you've played it or if you've heard of cricket.
We only have a couple.
Okay, I see a couple hands. That's good. It's very simple. It involves a bat and a ball, like you see in the picture. And then there's two teams, and one team does all the batting, and then the other team does fielding. And each team has 11 players. So there's 11 people who bat and then 11 people who field. And it was started in England. So it might seem really similar to baseball, right? Because there's batters and fielders and two teams and all of that. But there are a couple of differences, which we'll see. Okay, so this is kind of a clip of a professional cricket match in India. It's taken really seriously. You'll see all the stadium is like completely full and there's screaming fans. But I want you to look at it and kind of see what differences do you notice between cricket and baseball?
Here we are for the final day of the fourth test. Test match up for grabs, the series up for grabs. Australia requiring 10 wickets. India requiring 324 runs. Payne takes the catch. Australia get the breakthrough. As always, it's that man, Paddy Cummins. Rohit Sharma has to go. Nice work behind the stumps by the Australian keeper. India lose their first.
Hard at that. Nicely put away. That sort of fuller zone generally works, but on this occasion it works for Shubman Gill. Classic cover drive.
Go down the leg side. Quite far down, but he's interested, Nathan Lyon.
Red decision not out. Inspectors outside. In the wickets umpire's call.
If it had been given out, that decision would have remained. The sound of the bat from Shubman Gill. Wow.
Lyon to Gill. That's a beautiful shot. Couple of steps down the wicket, driven away through the covers. Gill moves to 47.
So yeah, there are a couple of differences. I don't know if you could tell from the short video, but the bat in cricket is a lot flatter than the baseball bat would be. And cricket has 11 players on a team, whereas baseball has 9. And then the playing field is very different in its size and shape, right? There's no bases or anything like that. So yeah, that's different. So that clip was very professional, right? Like a real sport being played between 2 national teams. But cricket is also really popular amongst the day-to-day people. And a version of cricket that's played by pretty much everybody is street cricket, or gully cricket as it's called. And so this type of cricket is like very informal. People set up their stumps and their bat and everything in like really random places, like on the street or in a park or anywhere, kind of wherever they can find the space. So it's really fun. And if you visit India, you'll see a lot of these games kind of happening impromptu. Next, we're going to talk about a different sport, not cricket, but a sport that's considered India's national sport. So India's national sport is actually field hockey, which is kind of surprising because cricket is so popular, but field hockey is the actual national sport. And India is really good at field hockey. They've won 8 gold medals since the 1928 Olympics. Okay, and then women's field hockey is also really good in India. And the picture on the right kind of shows a Vogue magazine cover where last year India's women's field hockey team was pictured and featured in the magazine. And hockey is also kind of part of the popular culture. So there's a clip from a movie that I'm going to show you that it was inspired by the women's hockey team and their win at the Commonwealth Games. So this movie kind of shows a clip, or this clip kind of shows a little bit of the movie about women's hockey.